Most of us have stories from our childhood and our parents and how they disciplined us that we cannot even share. You would agree with me that the old school parenting might have been a little bit excessive. And so in this episode, I'll be talking about how there is the old school parenting style and the new school parenting style. Most of my friends are like, no, I'm never going to treat my children the way my parents treated me. I'm never going to do this. I'm never going to do that. In fact, this is how I'm going to raise my children. And I'm sure it's all nice to say and all of that, but we should look into it really and see the differences between these two parenting styles. This is Lifestyle Talk with Tara, and I am your host, Lovina Omatara. Let's talk lifestyle. Okay, so the very first difference that I spotted when I went to research about the two parenting styles is, in one, you have an opinion and you have the right to air that opinion, versus talking back. So basically, the new parenting style or the modern parenting style allows you to be able to express yourself. Your parents are talking to you, you are dialoguing with them, they are disciplining you. They are telling you shouldn't have done that. You're like, no, I did it because, sorry. If you grew up with old generation parents like I had, talking back to them can land you in different places. It can land you in the hospital. It can land you flying across the world. It can land you in family meetings, because sometimes it's just best to not say a word. Because I don't know why, but old generation parents feel like when you try to defend yourself or you try to clear your name in an argument or something, it feels like you're being disrespectful to them or you're being aggressive. Worse still is when your mother wants to slap you. You see that hand coming and then you now block it. I pity you. Because that's when they will call family meeting on top of your head. So I usually tell my sisters, basically, just let them vent, right? Let them vent, let them say all they want to say. And then catch them at a later time when they are more relaxed and explain your side of the story. That way, you are able to communicate with them better. The very second thing is respect versus nonchalance. Okay, so you guys, I went to visit a family friend one time. I think I must have been like 12 at the time. So my mom and I went to visit this family friend, and something happened that actually shocked me. So when we got there, we're being entertained by the parents. We sat in the sitting room. They've served us stuff. Then the father, the man of the house, told their maid or something to go call the children. There were like two of them. And for 15 minutes, these children did not show. He sent them again, go and call this. Nobody showed up. Then he just shouted from downstairs and the kids were up. And he called their names, he shouted their names, and he was like, come downstairs. And the next thing I heard was, oh, what? The shock in my body. I looked at my mother. I could tell that we were thinking the same thing. She was looking at me and she was like, hey. And then I looked back at the man, I wanted to see his reaction. And he was so calm, he was cool. He was like, come now, Shebi, I know you are playing game, but when you are done, you can pause the game and you can go back and finish watching it or playing it when you finish greeting our guests. I'm like, what exactly is happening here? Because I was coming from a place where if they send you message 15 times, you go and do that errand 15 times with a smile on your face. You can't frank your face, because if you frank your face, it can land you a backhand. So you just do it. If you want to throw a tantrum, throw it in your room and make sure that nobody hears you. What? And so this one is a little bit of a tie for me. I feel like I'm going to side with the old generation here, because basically I feel like, yes sir, no ma, never go out of fashion. It's never out of fashion to be respectful to your elders. So with this one, I know they were practicing some sort of modern parenting style, but I'm going to stick with the old generation in this one. The very next one is ass whooping versus timeout. Most of us can relate to a very good ass whooping. I know. Most of us have stories, and not just stories, scars to show how much we were beaten or how much we were disciplined. Okay, this one is a little bit of a tie for me, because new generation parents feel like they can't do that to their children. They can't beat their children because, well, they see it as violence, you know, they see it as physical abuse. So they rather ground them or talk to them like sensible human beings. Okay, see, I am very much for not sparing the rod. Beat the child when the child needs to be beaten. It will chase foolishness away from their body. That's the defense our parents use anyway. So, but basically, I feel like there should be a balance, you know. There is a stage that the child gets to that you can actually speak to them and they understand. But before that time, don't budget pankere no ba. Pankere, if it's kobokoing, you know. But I also feel like parents should not beat their children or discipline their children when they are angry. Sometimes maybe the parents need the timeout, you know, just to chillax before you actually go ahead and discipline that child. The very next thing would be allowance versus incentives. I don't know if I'm the only one that asked their parents for money when we were growing up, or we're like, Mommy, I did this thing that you told me to do, come and pay me money. And you got a reply like, you are living under my roof for free. I'm putting food in your stomach and clothes on your back. So, like, basically, some parents, some old generation parents who are well-to-do, sometimes give their children allowances, but they see it as extra when you ask for those things. And then the one that is extra to me is this new generation parents that give children incentives for doing regular things that the kids are normally supposed to do. So they'll tell you, if you clean your room, I'll buy you ice cream. Or don't get bad grades at school, and then they give them a reward. I'm like, what is going on? Like, if a child is being rewarded for the regular things that he or she is supposed to do, I mean, you shouldn't reward a child for being a responsible human being, should you? I mean, it's okay if you give rewards or you give incentives for the extra things or the extra achievements that they do, like they make honor roll or they make straight A's at school. That is good, but then please don't reward a child for little things like that, because then they grow to expect it, and then when there is no incentive, they don't see the need to do those things. So that is where I draw the line for, you know, new style parenting or whatever. The very last thing would be go out to play versus go to your room. I know most of us have heard go to your room before. I don't know if you can think about the last time that you saw a bunch of kids just outside playing. I don't think I've seen that in a really long time. And that used to be us, you know, that used to be what we used to do. We used to have like neighborhood playgrounds. We used to invent our own games. We used to create our own toys. But now I feel like this new generation parents have kind of like replaced that interpersonal relationship with neighbors, with friends. They've replaced it with technology. Now the order of the day is Cartoon Network, it's smartphones, it's Xbox, it's everything except a real interaction with another human being. Then you are wondering why the kid grows up and he always locks himself in the room and doesn't want to come out to see anybody. It is what you've trained them with. I'm not saying that you should not introduce your children to being tech savvy at a young age, but I feel like those things should never replace interpersonal relationship. I think when we were growing up, our parents knew all our friends, knew all our neighbors, knew all their families, you know, and they could always tell where to find us if we're not in the house, you know. And so that way, I feel like, I don't know, that way the child is well-rounded, you know. I'm going to have this rule in my house, honestly. There is no phone at the dinner table. So future people, if you are listening, please understand, there is no phones at the dinner table. I feel like that is a time for the family to connect, you know, talk about our day. And so, and also my kids are not going to have, let me not say too much about that. Anyway, please do not be that parent that, you know, subjects their children or subjects their child to having interaction online than having interpersonal relationships with you as the parents and even other people as friends. So I know that there is a lot more differences and people are practicing. There's no black and white way for parenting. I know that. So share your stories with us. Let us know in the comment sections what you think your parents did right in your upbringing and what you see these days that is not sitting very well with you, what you would like to inculcate into your own, you know, home when you create one. This is Lifestyle Talk with Tara, brought to you by Death Think Media, and I'm your host, Obi Wata. Until next time, bye-bye.